Bam! We're back with another daily offside. What's going on? It's James from Offside, and we are proudly brought to you by our friends at Boxing Rock Brewing Co. Check out their big puck off Lagerdale. It's the big beer for the big game, and the big game last night did not go the Maple Leafs way. No, no, no. But let's get into it. Let's dive into some of the topics around Leafs Nation. So we're battling a little bit of the pasty mouse here today. The Toronto Maple Leafs last night obviously played a good first period. If that goal goes in, that was stopped on Gustafsson by Sorokin, by the way, amazing. And the words I heard from David Alter where you could hear that save reverberate through the UBS Center last night. Absolutely awesome. Great save. Sucks for the Leafs. But if you're going into that second period up 2-0, it changes everything. That cross-seam feed to Parise. That seemed to be the theme for the rest of the evening. It was bobbled pucks, giveaways, incomplete plays. And I look at it like this. I say, well, why is this happening? Is it the fact that we added so many players at the deadline? Or is it the fact that there's no continuity between the lines and guys are really just trying to figure out where each other are? And it's brain farts because you're misfiring on pucks of where they're supposed to go, what's supposed to happen, how things are supposed to shake out. Man, this pasty mouth is killing me today. But you look around and you see the Toronto Maple Leafs and what happened last night, and you say, okay, what could have gone differently? I look at this and I say, it's on Sheldon Keefe a little bit. And why do I say that? You know you're playing a team in the New York Islanders who are a grindy, defensive style, low-scoring team, although you wouldn't know it last night. You know, that really harkens to the fact that you should have your most physical kind of defenseman in there, and you got one of them. He was the hit leader when you acquired him in Luke Shen. That guy should have been in the lineup last night, clearing the net front, laying the body, doing all of those things that you brought him in for. You know, smart defensively, sound with the puck, etc., etc. You put it up and down the lineup, you tell me what it is, and then you let me know. But you look at this and you say, okay, Leafs fans, what do we expect from the Toronto Maple Leafs on a nightly basis? And right now it's been an 11-7 from Sheldon Keefe, of 12-6 here and there. I know they're waiting for Ryan O'Reilly to get back. I know they're letting some guys nurse injuries as well, like TJ Brody, and I get that. And guys should step up, figure it out, get it done. But last night, having Ilya Samsonov with the team, I think, was a mistake. I don't know if you're a parent or an expecting parent, but I know for myself, when my children were on the way, my mind was not on anything at hand that was in front of me except for waiting for that moment when it got close and then making sure that you were available and ready to be there for when it did happen. Now, I know Ilya Samsonov is in that boat because he's very excited. He's pumped up to be a dad and he's talking about it. He said it as much after the game last night. To me, that is on Sheldon Keefe and that is on Kyle Dubas not telling the player, hey, just stay back in Toronto, get yourself situated, catch up with us once your child is here and you've had a couple days to acclimate and be around everyone and make sure everyone's okay. That should have been the way to do it. I know Samsonov said he wanted to play, but you have to sometimes step in and tell a player that this is the way it's going to be because it's better for you and better for the team. And you just kind of have to step in there and say, listen, we know where you're at. We know what you're thinking. This is probably what you should be doing. It didn't happen. He was there, and then you know what? You could tell his mind was elsewhere last night. As for the Maple Leafs as well, most of them seemed to be in the same boat, seemed to be the same thinking. You know, it just did not seem to be cohesive last night. And there was a lot of bobbled pucks and pucks put in the wrong spot and guys missing passes. So really, I think the continuity of the lineup really hurt the Maple Leafs not playing with the same guys, switching it up so much. And I do think the final 9 games when Ryan O'Reilly gets back will be tried, tested, and true. Maybe the final 3, you throw in Matthew Nyes and see what happens. But for me, I look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and I say, last night, you crumple it up and throw it out the window and go on to Florida, another team in the same position as the New York Islanders, clawing for every single moment that there is on the ice to make their playoff lives come true. So you have the same kind of game coming up, and now you're turning to Matt Murray or Joe Wool, for that matter, who will be up, and there is a back-to-back this week. So we will see what happens there in the goaltending ranks. But I will say this: you look at this team, and you know what they're capable of and what they can do, and it's really just an 82-game dress rehearsal. We all know that for round one against Tampa. And speaking of Tampa, isn't it funny that when Toronto doesn't win games to widen the point spread, or last year when Toronto didn't win games to close the gap on certain teams, we all throw our arms up and, wasted opportunity by the Maple Leafs. I never hear that. Never hear that about the Tampa Bay Lightning. Wasted opportunity to gain ground on the Toronto Maple Leafs. They wasted an opportunity last night playing the Montreal Canadiens, losing 3-2 and not gaining ground on the Maple Leafs, putting themselves 1 point back. And they are 2 games ahead of the Maple Leafs as well. So the Leafs have 2 games in hand to widen their own gap. And I mean, the Leafs did themselves no favors. They didn't win their game last night. But I'm looking at Tampa and saying, this team is not performing well since the All-Star break. But no one's talking about that. Everybody only talks about what Toronto has done post All-Star, etc., etc. So we'll see what shakes out. We have our next game on Thursday, tomorrow night, Florida Panthers, and then Saturday and Sunday with Carolina and Nashville accordingly. So we'll see what happens the rest of the week. We're 0-1 right now. I'm looking for the Leafs to be 3-1-0 for the rest of the week. You let me know what you think in the comments of this video. You know what it is, though, around here. It's short, sweet Leaf pods to the point. All right, you know what it is. It's Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk.